Hi, today we're going to talk about radio silence. It's something, the cornerstone of all our strategy on that channel, on the work I do with my clients. But today we're not going to talk about the radio silence from your side, from your point of view, but talk about what's going on in your ex's mind when there's a radio silence. So I'm going to detail a little bit about the breakup, and then we're going to move on to what's in their mind. So the beauty of the radio silence is that at some point they are going to want to come back to you, because they're going to think about it and they're going to want to reconnect. And that's the whole point of radio silence, is unless there's a proper no communication for days and weeks, you're not going to create that desire for them to reconnect with you. But first, let's look at the steps following a breakup. So a breakup doesn't happen in a day. It's a reflection. It's something that takes up to 30% of the relationship. So if you've been together for 3 years, maybe your ex started to think about breaking up with you a year ago. And so at this stage, when they make the decision to break up with you, they are sure of the decision. And the thing is, for you, it's a shock. And what we tend to do is to react with urgency, and this is the biggest mistake. Their decision was emotional at first, but then it turns very logical. And they hide what I call a logical bunker. So anytime you would want to confront or have explanation with your ex, they will tell you, I've made the decision because I feel we don't share the same vision. I feel you're not making any effort. Because we have too many arguments, and they will have very, very precise arguments. And the more you're going to try to confront, the thicker the walls of this bunker will become. And so trying to hit that bunker would not work. What would work is the radio silence. Because they would avoid the emotional, and your emotions won't have any effect. So the best thing to do is to disapprove their decision. Say, I don't agree with your decision, but I respect it. I see your thinking, so you understand their logical bunker. You don't want to change that bunker for now. And you say, let's move away, let's split. I'm not ready to be a friend with you. And let's go into radio silence. So let's, stop contacting each other for the moment. Before I start and before I explain what's going on in their mind at this stage of radio silence, just to remind you, there is a quiz. It's basically telling you if you have any chance to get back with your ex. It takes 2 minutes to complete. It's totally free, and you get the answer right away. You're not anymore in the dark. You have the answer in 2 minutes. So the phases. The first one is relief. You have to understand that your ex doesn't want to hurt you. When they make that decision, the whole point is not to hurt you. It's really, really something that's a difficult decision for them to make. And when you're together for a long time, you obviously develop friendship. You're very close to each other. So it's a very, very hard decision for them to make. And if you broke up with someone in the past, if you make that decision, you understand that. It's not something easy to make. And what will happen is that the tone between you guys will change. Firstly, the message will be vague. We'll see, I have to think about it. Maybe it's just a break. So again, they want to manage your expectation. They don't want you to suffer. They want to manage yourself. But then it becomes very complex. Like, I wish it could work, but I need time. All this kind of thing. There's always external circumstances going on. They're not confident that you're going to date well, and they don't believe them. Because that's the whole thing. They have a little bit of doubt when they make their decisions. But don't use that for now. And then it sort of escalates, and it becomes more direct, meaner messages, like stop texting me, or I call the police, leave me alone. It could be extreme like that. And so what happens is, at the start of the radio silence, there's this relief in your ex's mind. They breathe again, they're happy, and I know it's hard to hear, but they're happy. They can do what they've dreamed of, or they can be alone without, the burden of being in a couple. And this is sort of the long-awaited step of liberation. They thought of that decision for a while now, and now it's happening. They can breathe again. And I know it's very hard to hear, but that's actually a good thing that they have this time for relief. So how long does it last? It's not a science. It's not like 4 days and 3 hours and 2 minutes. Where we say it's often between a few days and 2 weeks. So I'm talking about the phase of relieving in your ex's mind. I'm not talking about the radio silence. So a few days, 2 weeks. And the thing is, most people will try to look at social media for signals. Like they are with friends, they look happy, they go out, they do things they didn't do. All these kind of things, the signals you see on social media makes you feel like, okay, that's actually, they're really happy about that decision. My advice is don't look on social media, okay? We often think we have to, but actually it's not true. You can block your ex, you can not necessarily block your ex, but meaning unfriend your ex, but you can hide what they are sharing. It will really, really help you. Or just try digital detox. It's going to be really good for you. I'm not telling you just to stop Facebook and Instagram forever. Just stop it for a week, for a few weeks, or a few months. And you'll see a massive difference in your mindset as well. And there's been studies going constantly on social media makes you more depressed than happy, actually. So try a bit of digital detox. That can't hurt. Because what happens, and that's very, I guess you know that concept, is the social mask. What you see on social media, people wear a mask on social media. And so don't think that if you see your ex super happy, they just forget, they don't forget so quickly, of course. So always remember that. And what they do is on social media, they project who they want to be. So this is not necessarily what they have in their heart, in their head, but they just wear a mask and show that they're happy, they're social, they have friends, they go on parties and stuff, but you don't know exactly what's going on in their mind. So don't look at social media for what you see. Always remember that people people wear masks on social media. And my advice is for you to start a digital detox. It's going to be very good for you. So then the second step is that they notice that they haven't heard from you. So at the beginning, and it's something I see a lot, there's a bit of arrogance from the person who dumps the other, because they feel like, no, I made the decision, it was the right decision. They feel a bit of a position of superiority. I have more power, I'm more seductive, I'm more beautiful. And they feel like I'm the winner, they are the loser. Of course, I'm exaggerating the things, but that's a little bit of the mindset in their mind. And then things switch a little bit. They become curious. They're like, oh shit, I thought I was above the other, I was the winner, but I don't see anything coming back. Why isn't she or he trying to get back at me? And then that's when you sort of affect that confidence in the decision they make. And that's the third stage, is they're questioning. They're basically scared. They're like, wow, what if I made the wrong choice? Why, if I was actually the loser and the winner? Maybe I made the wrong decision. Also, the beautiful thing about radio silence is that now because that's how the brain works, that's how we are wired, we tend to forget bad memories and keep only the good ones. So with this time, without any contact from you, the only thing they remember of you is the good memories. And so now they have a happy image of you. They start to really challenge the decision and see and really scared whether they made the right decision or not. So don't post photos with other people on social media. It's not the time for you to brag about yourself. because it's going to be a sign that your relationship was not important and that you moved on. So always keep it mystery. It's very important to keep the mystery. Mystery is the best weapon when it comes to attraction. So always try to suggest, don't be showing off with girls or guys on social media. It needs to be indirect, and you have to keep the mystery. So keep waiting, living uncertainty. That's how it works. Think about anything we desire in life. It needs to be a little bit hard to get. It needs to be, there's a bit of scarcity around that. And what's gonna happen is that they're gonna try to question themselves, why didn't they contact me? Have they moved on? And they start like, what if they never contact me again? And now you sort of completely switch the balance between you being completely, oh yeah, I'm suffering the decision and there's nothing I can do, I'm fighting against that logical banker, to them thinking like, shit, actually, I might have made the biggest mistake in my life. And they are going to try to reconnect, to recreate that emotional bond. And so don't make the job easier for them. Don't tell them, I miss you. Don't say that you're depressed and your life sucks. Don't say that the breakup was hard. Because otherwise it's going to be so easy for them to be like, oh, okay, now I know, actually I'm the winner. So don't mention that to them. If you make this step too comfortable for them, it will free them from emotions, and and that's very important, it will no longer make them responsible for the consequence of their actions. Because if they realize that you're depressed, that they are the winners, that they no longer have to worry. And the love tension is dead because they are here and you are here. You need to rebalance that connection, not that connection, but I lost the word, but basically the power balance in terms of him and you, or her and you. And so what's going to happen is that they will come back and test the water. What will they test? They will test if you've changed. Whether you're, I don't know, maybe you were you were unemployed, now you have a job, are you doing a lot of things, are you seeing people, do you have a social life, all these kind of things. They're going to test also how they feel about texting you and contacting you. And they're going to test what you've become. Because if you remember, the breakup is the result of something that you weren't doing, or that you weren't, or that you didn't make any effort in that couple. Maybe they're going to test and realize, actually now, we haven't been in touch for 21 days, but he's done so much effort to change. He's a new person. And that's the fundamental thing. Time is really part of the equation here. Because if you think about it, when you bake a cake, or when you make a dish, or when you bake a cake and the recipe tells you it's 200 degrees for 1 hour, well, if you put 1000 degrees for 12 minutes, it's not going to work. You're going to burn the cake. So you need time. The same when you water a plant. It's not so much about watering liters and liters on one day. You need to do it, you need time. And that's the whole point of radio silence. Time will do the work. And it's hard to understand, but that's how it works. It's not so much about the effort you make towards your ex. The effort you have to make is within yourself, and time will do the rest, because they will always go through those steps of being relieved, of then questioning, and then freaking out. And this is where you're going to win, because they're going to freak out. I hope that was helpful, and I'll see you next time. If you have any questions, any comments, feel free to comment in the video. Ciao.